Hi, this is Jerome Pepin. Welcome to the Amy Work Order Customer Documents second installment. If you haven't seen the first video, you may want to watch that before you watch this because there's a lot of things within the customer documents that I'll be skipping. Because in this video, I want to focus on enabling overrides. Enabling overrides essentially allows you to have a free-form entry of labor, parts, and so on. You're not encumbered by the rigors of a properly defined work order. It lets you hack together quotes and hack together invoices very, very quickly to get them in the customer's hand. Once it's in the customer's hands and they say, hey, let's go for it, and they give their 50% deposit or the deposit on all the equipment that goes into the job, then we'll invest time in laying out the work order in a proper and professional manner. But until then, we want to move quickly. So let's get started. So we just got a call from our favorite customer, Mr. Anderson. And he's talking about swapping out his TDR 950 with an Apereo Stratus ESG. Again. And he's looking for, a rough order of magnitude. What is this going to run me? Can you give me an idea? He's a good customer of mine. I want to get a quote in his hands, and if he likes what he sees, I think he's going to bite. So I want to put together a quote really fast. So here's my quote. It's very simple. Replace TDR with ESG. I didn't even put an estimate for hours in here, and I really did knock myself out with the squawk description. It's just very simple because I'm going to do all the work in the quoting system within customer documents. So notice I've checked enable overrides, allow free-form data entry. This is really the key. When you enable overrides, you have new links on the financial worksheets, add labor, add parts, and so on. So we're going to go ahead and add a new labor item for the removal of the TDR. And we're going to, throw in a couple of line items. I think we're removing the pilot seat in our quote, and we're doing the installation, and we'll be furnishing the aircraft owner with the new transponder. When a job requires a lot of equipment that you don't carry in your inventory, to create a proper work order, you have to define it in your inventory system first to request that part to be part of the job. It can be pretty tedious. So when you have a whole bunch of parts you don't have in your inventory, this add part feature can allow you to hack them into a quote really, really quickly. So this is an example where it really shines. So let's hack away, and we'll add this Stratus ESG, and we'll throw a price in there, and we'll see if we can build this quote out fast. We'll throw in a hazmat fee for the disposal of the TDR. That's probably not very charitable of me. And we'll throw in a credit card fee. And let's see what our quote looks like. So I'm noticing that the quote is a little bit higher than I expected. I've got something wrong in it. Let's see if we can figure out what it is. I'm going to scroll up and look for some big numbers. Oh, there it is. The Stratus ESG transponder is in the list twice, and I'm going to delete one of them. So it's really simple to add. It's really simple to remove. And let's take a look at what the total price is now. We're coming in at around $5,000. That seems a little bit closer to what I thought it would be. Let's march ahead and let's get this estimate in our customer's hands. So per usual for our shop, we require a 50% deposit, and I'll email the quote out to the customer. You've seen this before, so I'll skip it. The customer likes what they see in the estimate, and they've asked me to send them an invoice so they can pay the 50% down deposit. So I'm going to convert this to a work order, generate an invoice with the 50% deposit required, and get that in the customer's hands. So here we're going to cascade forward to the invoice the various costs. Now, there may be costs that we're not cascading forward. Maybe the customer doesn't want us to do something, and so it's very easy to take elements of the job out of the puzzle. So we're going to go ahead and receive the deposit on the job, and then we're going to actually execute the job, and I want you to see what the customer documents look like when we go from estimates where we've invented labor line items and invented parts, kind of hacked it together to an actual work order that has real parts in it. So here we're adding our part to the job. We're telling it to put it in the weight and balance. We'll pick the part to the job. We'll pick it from inventory. We'll go ahead and create the remove log record for the TDR that we're pulling from the system. And that's also needs to be in our weight and balance. We're going to go into the squawk and tune up the squawk description and put in a professional corrective action because we're working the job now. We put in our 7 hours worth of work. And now the job's over and it's time to create a final invoice and settle with the customer on the balance due. And I'm going into invoices, I'm going into the worksheet builder, and I have an opportunity, a new opportunity to select how I'm going to create this invoice. Well, I'm going to create it on actuals. I'm not going to use the estimates. That's a business choice. We're going to go with the hazmat fee and the credit card fee, but all of these labor line items, these labor rows here and the parts rows, those are all things I hacked together. I have actuals now. I won't use those. We did get a payment, so we will apply the payment to the final invoice that we'll be sending out to the customer. Because I told Amy to create this invoice based on actuals, I have 7 hours of labor. The part itself didn't cost $3,500, it cost about $2,500. There were a whole bunch of other labor hours that I never expended, so they're not part of my final invoice. We did receive the deposit of $2,000, so that shows. And now we can create a final invoice, no longer a pro forma invoice, but a final invoice. We'll issue it to the customer, we'll collect payment, and this job is done. Okay, so you've made it to almost the end of this video. Let's talk about when to use this feature and when not to use this feature. I think sometimes being super precise is actually a bad idea. Sometimes you can't be precise because the job's not well defined enough, so a rough order of magnitude is great. Sometimes customers just need to get close enough because they're not sure they're really ready to spend the money today. Other times the job requires tons of parts that you just don't have in stock, and being super precise with descriptions and super precise with part numbers isn't necessary. It's not even helpful. Maybe you want to be accurate with pricing, but the rest of it you don't have to be that close with. So when is it a bad idea to use this feature? I think when all of the things in the above list are untrue, then it's a bad idea to use this feature. So be really interested in your comments, and we have a number of customers that use this feature and a number of customers that don't use this feature. Would love to get your feedback and get your ideas on this. Okay, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next video.